So let's start, and first with a quick introduction of your host today for this webinar. So first we have Ganesh Muniraj, who is a Senior Customer Success Manager at Linkurious, and Fabian Feature, a Senior Solution Engineer. They're both part of the same customer success team, which to make it short, basically, we aim at making sure that our clients have the best experience possible with Linkurious and graph technology. So without further ado, let's have a look at the agenda. And for that, I'll hand out the microphone to Ganesh.
Yeah, thank you, Thibaut, and welcome everyone. I will give you like a quick overview of what we are going to see today. So I will walk you through no-code query builder. What is it? Who is it for? Why did we build it? And then show you like a live demo with a few examples. And then my colleague Fabian will walk you through the Query AI plugin. Again, what is it? Who is it for? Why did we build a Query AI plugin? And he will show you some examples with a live demo. Let's jump right in. Okay, I will set the context here of what is that we are trying to tackle here. Imagine you are an analyst. You are working on solving an investigative problem. You know that the answer to your investigative questions lies in your database, but then you hit a wall. The reason, yes, you need to write a query to access the different data that you need to solve your investigative question. Now what you do? Okay, now you have to explain what you want to your technical colleagues, either orally or in a written format by email or some documentation, and then you send it to them. You wait for them to respond depending upon their priority as well. I know it's frustrating, but also it is a business problem. The time you could have spent on investigating and solving the case, now it's being spent waiting. So it is not just a problem that some people face only in one particular company or one particular industry. No, our product team's research has consistently shown that it's being faced by many people in many different companies, in many different organizations and industries. So that is why we set out to solve this problem. And we at Linkurious have always been passionate about democratizing access to the data, access to the graph databases. And we set out to solve this problem. So the result of that was the no-code query builder. So what is it? So the no-code query builder allows you to create custom queries without directly writing a single line of code. So as you can see on the screen, it's kind of a drop-down interface, which is very intuitive. You choose your nodes and edges, and then you can see the results in the next couple of steps. So who is it for? As I painted it in the problem statement, it's for investigative analysts who want to find answers in their graph database. It's for non-technical analysts who lack expertise in writing queries. And it's for business analysts who know what kind of questions to ask, but then they don't know how to translate that into Linkurious Enterprise in a technical way. And also there are cases where technical analysts want to quickly build a simple query and then add complex conditions later with a query editor. Those are the situations which query builder can easily handle. So why did we build it? Because we really wanted to remove the technical barriers from the project. We really wanted to speed up the investigation time that is taken to solve your cases. And then we also make the users more independent in handling the things which they wanted to handle. So what are the steps that are needed to achieve this? There are actually 4 main steps. So the first step is build your query. So as you can see on the screen, you choose your nodes and edges and the connections which you want to see. For persons who are like unfamiliar with graph databases, nodes are the main entities. Imagine person and an organization. the person working for an organization. That working for is the relationship. That is the edge. That's called edge in a graph database. So you choose that, and then immediately you would see the number of results depending upon the conditions you set on the screen itself. You can change the criteria, add conditions as and when ideas pops up on your mind. So once you are done that, then you click on the preview a query button that you see on in blue on the bottom right, and then it takes you to the screen where you would see the query that is written in the background depending upon the option you chose in the previous screen. And by clicking on the preview query results button, you could also see the nodes and edges directly on the screen, showing you the results in a very in the initial steps itself. And then once you're satisfied here, then you can move to the next step to save your query. Or if you want to make changes in the step itself, then you can click on switch to editor on the top right, and you can make some changes, and then you can preview the query results directly here. So once you are satisfied, then you save your query on this step. You give a query title, you give a description, you put a tag so that you can easily filter it out later. And once you are satisfied here, then you click on confirm, and the confirm step saves the query, and then you can show it. You can see it in the Linkurious Enterprise visualization window. So what you see on the right of the screen is the two saved queries that was created with the help of a no-code query builder. Once you click on the play icon there, it runs the query, and then it shows you the results on the visualization area. So there you can go ahead and kind of go forward with your investigation. If you want to use other Linkurious Enterprise features like tagging your colleagues, grouping, no grouping, edge grouping, and so on, you can go ahead and do it from there. Awesome. So now that you know what are the steps that needs to be taken, I will give you some example scenarios from the point of view of uh, non-technical analyst. People usually think in plain English, and this is how they usually think. Okay, I want a list of people in my database with annual income greater than $100,000 who are American. Okay, they think in plain English like this. And if they want to, of course, there are some complex situations like that as well, like where I want a list of American people in my database, but with annual income greater than 100K, who are also controlling a company with annual turnover greater than 8 million USD. See, you can kind of layer the conditions step by step, and then you can filter the result from your graph database. And also there are situations like this. I know a list of people I want from a graph database. I know their client ID. Then I want to see them on the visualization area and want to conduct my investigation there. So that is also possible with no code query builder. That is the last query you are seeing on the screen. So again, while doing the investigation, that there are common situations. Like imagine it's a financial sector, banking sector, where usually one physical address, one IP address, one mobile phone number is associated with one person. But then uh, because of synthetic identities, or like people who want to commit fraud, they use fake email IDs, phone numbers, and create multiple bank accounts within a same financial institution. So in that case, let's say that you want to see the list of people who are using a same email ID or a same physical address, or who are accessing your banking application from a same IP address, and so on, then that is also possible with no code query builder. So now I painted you and the different scenarios where you could see or use a no code query builder. Now let's go ahead and see it on a live demo. So I'm directly jumping into Linkurious Enterprise. I'm choosing the data set which I wanted to use. Let's first start with the create visualization here. We click on no code query builder, that is directly on the start screen. You can also access no code query builder from the bottom right of this quick action menu, whenever you are doing the investigation. So you click on a no-code query builder, and the first window opens up where you define your criteria. Have shown you the example where I want people. So here it is marked as person, and I already see that there are like 1,000 people here. Then I add a connection. Okay, before that, person who is American. So I need to add a condition here. So I want to filter them by nationality. So nationality equal to American. I will put that here. You can see that on the bottom that there are like 1,175 results. Now I am going to filter them by American, so which is United States. So it reduced to 1,200. You can also kind of add more conditions if you want. So in this case, let's say I want to choose France. So it reduces the results and so on. So you can choose and layer your conditions. So Americans who are earning more than 100K. So here the annual income is marked as annual revenues here. So I choose annual revenues. So greater than. So I choose greater than 100,000. So this one, and you could see that the results is changing. So this is like a very basic query. Let's go ahead and save them and so on. So as you can see here, based on the condition we have chosen, the nationality is US, and then the annual revenue greater than 100K. You see the query, and you can preview the query results right away here. Yep. So there are two things which you can do here. Either you can add the results to the workspace directly and conduct your investigation without saving, or you could save your query. So in this case, I'm going to save the query. So just for the sake of example, I'm going to save it as a demo query 1. So you give a proper description: people with 100K income. Okay, American people with 100K, with actually more than 100K income. Then you choose your tag. You can either create a new tag or you can choose an existing tag. You create it and then you confirm it. So now that query is saved as demo query 1, as you can see on here. So there are here, okay, you can see all the different queries that is available for you. You could see the suggested queries depending upon the situation. You can filter them by the query tags which we created. So it's available here. So I'm like filtering the query tags, queries with the help of the tags. That is the demo query 1. I run it. The query is running. And then voila, you have the results on your screen. So from here, you could go ahead and conduct your investigation as you want. You could save this visualization. So I'm just keeping it the same name and save it. And then, yeah, you could come back to it and then you can conduct the investigation and so on. Now, let's look at the different scenario. I wanted to, let's go to the, okay. Let's create a query where I want to see the particular client IDs. Okay, add a condition with client IDs equal to. So you can either define the value on demand, you put some client ID and then it shows you the result, or if you know the different IDs which you wanted to see, then you can paste it here and see it from there. I will try to copy the client ID from, okay, I have to copy it from the presentation. Oh. Nope, I couldn't copy it here. I'm opening a new tab, going to the presentation to copy it from there. Yep, now I copied the IDs. I'm pasting it here. As you could see, the 5 IDs I copied. it shows the results right away. So you preview a query, preview the query results. You can save as we saved in the last step, or you could either put it on the workspace directly without saving, and then you can see them on the screen and so on. And save the visualization, 5 client IDs, and then you can come back and do the investigation as you wanted. Now let's see another very common use case, which is I want to see the list of people who is in my graph database, who is accessing the my banking application from the same IP address. Okay, so the IP address is your node. You add a connection, has IP address, and then what you want to see is the people. So this query right now is showing people who has IP address, so which is like 1950. But then our condition is who is accessing the application from the same IP address. So I click on 3. So this is like in a single IP address, 3 people are connected. So you preview a query results, as you can see. So this is the IP address, and these are the different people who are connected to the same IP address. From here, again, as you want, you can add the results to your workspace and continue the investigation from there. So we could, do the same thing for a physical address. I will show you an example for a physical address. Address, add a connection, has address with person, and you can see that it's 1900 results. You add a condition that it's at least 3 people are registered to the same physical address, and then you can see the result. 314 people are connected to the same physical address. Now let's delete all the criteria from the bottom left. Let's say you want to see the same with the phone number. So phone number, add a connection, has phone number, person. Let's say at least 2 people connected to the same phone number. So you could see that there are 1,400 people who are using the same phone number. 48 people in your graph database where one phone number is attached to at least 3 people. So you could conduct the investigation and so on. So as you could see, the no-code query builder is like very interesting to conduct your own investigation based on your inspiration, your thought process, whatever the common conditions you want to explore in your graph database. And no-code query builder could be very helpful in those kind of situations. Let's jump back to the slides. And move on to the main benefits. So as you would have noticed right now, it's very intuitive, it's very visual. You just choose your nodes and edges, and then you could conduct the investigation. You could see the real-time feedback on the screen right away based on the kind of edges and the nodes which you have chosen. Enhance collaboration and efficiency. So you save the query, you share it with your colleagues, and then they could run this query when they want to do the same investigation and so on. And also you could tag your colleagues on during the investigation and conduct the investigation collaboratively as well. So this is really a game changer for non-technical analysts who would gain their independence in conducting their investigations. Okay, is there any particular thing you need to know right now based on what you have seen? So the no-code query builder right now is compatible with Neo4j. So you need to have a Neo4j database to access this feature. But if you want, if you are someone who is using other databases like, let's say, memgraph, Google Cloud Spanner, or any other thing, then you can reach out to your customer success manager or solution engineer, and they will tell you what you need to do in this case. With that, now I pass the mic to my colleague Fabien, who would walk you through the Query AI plugin. Over to you, Fabien.
Thank you, Ganesh. The no-code query builder is fantastic for point-and-click exploration. But what if your question isn't covered by the user interface? What if you want to express in natural language what you need? This is where Query AI comes in. It's our new LLM-powered query assistant inside Linkurious Enterprise. It transforms natural language into Cypher queries, lets you review and edit them for full control, and executes them right here in Linkurious Enterprise with instant visualization. And yes, it supports multi-language, so you can write your prompts in English, German, French, or any other language of your preference. Why does this matter? Graphs are powerful tools, but to unlock their full potential, you usually need to write some sort of Cypher or any other graph language. That's a challenge for many business users and slows down adoption. LLMs can bridge that gap. They democratize access so anyone, not just developers, can ask questions and get answers about their graph data. Let me show you how this works with a quick story. We are a financial investigation team looking for fraud patterns in transactions. Our graph consists of customers, bank accounts, and transactions. We'll start simple and move to more complex questions. I open my Linkurious Enterprise and have to share in advance. This is a prototype. It doesn't represent the final state of the functionality, but we'll get to this later on. I'm creating a new visualization. I open my Query AI that presents you with an interface to send your prompts. It looks very similar to other assistants that you might be familiar with, like ChatGPT. Now let's start writing our first prompt. As an investigator, I don't know Cypher, but I know what I want. I want all German customers. All German customers. The plugin takes my prompt, uses the schema from Linkurious Enterprise, and generates a query. And there we go. I open the query and I see in the top right corner the query inside a query editor. I could adjust my query if needed. For example, if I change my mind, I want to have all customers from Spain, then I can do so. And if not, I can undo my changes. In the lower right corner, I see a preview of the data that was retrieved by executing the query inside Linkurious Enterprise. And there we see we have Grace, Alice, and Bob, all customers from Germany. Now, if you say, okay, that's great, but English is not my most preferred language. I'm German, so I can type this prompt also in German. Alle deutschen Kunden. I generate the query, and as you can see, it equally understands my prompt and generates the very same query than before. Now let's dig a bit deeper, and I'm now interested to find out whom of my customers might be high risk because they hold multiple bank accounts. Then I can type the following prompt. Find all customers with more than 3 accounts. The plugin takes my query. Oh. I have to do it again. And all customers connected to more than 3 accounts. All right, and there we go. And this query is already a bit more complex. It would take the analyst more time to write this query by hand. And as we see in the results, we have one customer, Grace, who owns more than 3 accounts, in this case, 4 accounts. Now what I can do is I can save the query to make it accessible for later usage. And the plugin can then generate a name for our query. It generates a description so that I can retrieve it very easily in my Linkurious Enterprise. I am reloading my workspace. And then I can see it right here in my query manager. I can execute it and see the same results in my visualization and could start my investigation. Now let's remove the data again and get back to our query AI, and let's try something even more advanced. Now I want to detect suspicious chains of transactions of at least 3 steps with every transaction greater than 10,000 euros. This is a pattern an investigator might look for because it can indicate layering in money laundering. Query AI takes the prompt, uses the schema from Linkurious Enterprise, and generates the following query. And there we go. Here we see one suspicious chain of transactions. Now, what I can do is saving the query again to make it accessible for later usage, or add my results directly to my workspace. And now let's do this. And there we go. Now, as an investigator, I can start investigating this data. For example, we have this bank account here who has sent 12,000 euros to a second bank account, who sent another 11,000 euros to a third one, and so forth. So this way I can leverage all the tools that Linkurious Enterprise is offering to deepen my analysis. All right, now let's talk a bit more about what LLMs we have implemented. So let's get back to our plugin. And if you have admin rights, you can access the Query AI configuration page, which lets you choose between the LLMs that we have implemented. For the time being, we have Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, OpenAI GPT, and Mistral. You can set your own API key and have a look to the prompt template that is sent together with your prompt to the LLM to further define the output that is expected from the plugin. You can even adjust it if you see a fit for your use cases. All right, let's get back to our presentation. And at this point in time, you might ask, if you offer Query AI, why would you need the no-code query builder? And that's a really good question. The no-code query builder allows users with no schema and no data knowledge and without any technical background to discover what's inside your graph database in a step-by-step manner. On the other hand, Query AI offers more flexibility, but it usually requires the users to have an understanding of the schema and the data to ask meaningful questions to the AI assistant. Then it helps users with no technical knowledge, but also more advanced Cypher developers that want to accelerate the development of their Cypher queries. How does it work? Under the hood, it loads your graph schema from Linkurious Enterprise, uses that one together with the LLM prompt template that we have seen in the configuration page earlier to then generate the Cypher query. It gives you, in the end, the control of what to do with your queries. You can review them, you can edit them and save the query and make it accessible with other users in your system. One important thing to mention here is that your data never leaves Linkurious Enterprise. Only the schema is shared with the LLM. All right, what specific value do we bring to different types of users? For more business-oriented users, the Query AI reduces the need to learn Cypher to reach deeper insights. For more technical capable users like data scientists, they benefit from faster hypothesis testing. And on an organizational level, a democratized access allows for more insights and then a better decision making. When it comes to limitations, for the time being, we have implemented support for Cypher. Other languages might follow. And as said before, we do not share data with the LLM, which then means that prompts that ask questions about the data for reporting or analysis of the data are currently not possible. And that's where Report AI comes in, the next evolutionary step in the development of Linkurious Enterprise. But that's a topic for another webinar. All right. We are looking forward to hear your questions, and yeah, we'll answer them just in a second.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you, Fabian. Really cool demos. So in terms of questions, I see already one coming in the chat. Just remember, you can still write some questions. Okay, two questions actually from the same person. Let's see. So the first question is, during the demo of the no-code core builder, there was a new additional operator condition after Ganesh had selected the nodes and edges. Is that something that is on the most recent update of Linkurious Enterprise?
Yeah, thank you, Thibaut. Yes, it's on the latest version of Linkurious Enterprise from 4.2.1. Yeah, it was released like, let's say, a month ago. And you can already, once you start updating your environment, I think you should be able to see them on your instances.
All right. I see another question, more, I guess, on the side of the LLM. If we use an air-gap environment with the Query AI, can we configure our own LLM API internally without the need to reach out, meaning that we could host our own LLM internally? Great question.
So for the time being, we have implemented only the most relevant LLMs and the APIs. But we are in development to explore further possibilities like having a custom LLM being connected to the Query AI.
Okay. The other is more of a remark, which is a positive remark that is significantly reducing friction. That is music to our ears. So thank you very much. Let's see other question that we could have on the no-code query builder topic. Does it allow only to build static queries, or can you also build dynamic queries, meaning within that you build a query that users could use and add an input prior to running the query?
Yeah, thank you, Thibaut. Yes, dynamic queries are possible. So I will go to my my instance, and I can quickly show that how it could be done. Let's say no-code query builder. Let's choose that example wherein I want to see American people with more than $100,000 income. No, not the American people. Maybe I want to see people who are earning more than $100,000, but I want to change the different nationalities, in runtime, and it needs to show me the result. Okay, how can we do that? So you go ahead and choose person, and you add a condition that the income has to be greater than 100,000, and you add a condition that you will be choosing the nationality of them in runtime. So that is what you do here. Nationality equal to define value on demand. As you could see, when you do that, so the estimation becomes unavailable because it depends on the user input, and the results will be calculated in runtime. So you preview your query. As you could see, this was not possible in the static queries, whereas in the dynamic queries, this is possible. When you try to run it, it would without an input, it would throw an error. Whereas if you give an input and then preview the query results, as you can see, so this is like you are choosing the nationality in runtime. And let's say you just save this query. Let's for now just keep it runtime nationality, and you, for the sake of easy finding, I'm like adding the tags here to NCQB. I click on confirm, and you could see the result here. So it's runtime, it's saved. Now I run the query. Now let me give you something which I haven't given before. So France. So it's running. Voila. As you can see, you can change the input. You can see the nationality is France, and you could do the investigation in runtime. So that's how you do dynamic queries. Hope it answers your questions, Thibaut.
Awesome. Maybe another question. Let's see. How do we prevent users overloading the system with too many queries or queries that would be too heavy in terms of resources?
All right, if this question is related to Query AI, we send the prompt to the LLM, so the limitations of the LLM provider applies. When the delivered or generated query then is executed inside Linkurious Enterprise, the normal configuration around timeouts and rate limitation or result limitation applies.
Okay, maybe let's see your last question. Okay, are there any limitation in using the no-code query builder rather than directly writing in Cypher within the query editor?
Yep, there are a few limitations as in any no-code tools. Let's say that you want to do complex operations like adding a node, updating a node, or deleting a node, then it's better you use the query editor. Let's say you want to use graph algorithms like PageRank, community detection, measuring the centrality, and so on. It's better to use a query editor because those are not like available in no-code query builder right now. What is best is to use for use cases that we have seen in this demo example so far. For everyday queries like filtering, pattern matching, and then doing some everyday analytical tasks and investigation tasks. I think a no-code query builder is the best way to go.
Okay, I think that's it for question. Let me give it a last look. Yeah, I think there's no more questions. So in that case, I think we can conclude this webinar. So thank you very much for those who attended. You will receive the recording of this webinar with all the demos if you want to watch it again, share it with members of your team and your company. So, and we are also available if you have other questions that might have come afterwards around rewatching the video. Don't hesitate to reach out. Meanwhile, thank you for attending. Wishing you a great evening, and Yeah, thank you, everyone.